Hey guys, I'm Mr. Junior here, aka Mustached. I'm here to review the movie Space Jam: A New Legacy. If you end up enjoying this review, then consider joining, subscribing, and also joining my Patreon page. Any donations are desperately needed. Shilling will be remembered at the end at the review. So, with that out of the way, let's get into the movie. So, I have never officially reviewed Space Jam: A New Legacy, or the original Space Jam, I should say, in a reviewing capacity. At the time, a lot of people had a tendency to like the movie more so, I think, for the music than the actual movie. From what I can remember from it, I probably give it a week. Like, if I'm being objective about the movie, probably like a 3 out of 10, maybe. If I'm being generous from what I can remember of the movie. There seemed to be some story in there somewhere. It's been a while though, but that's not the point. We are here to review this movie. And boy oh boy, Space Jam: A New Legacy. So, we have a lot to discuss, so let's jump right into it. We begin our movie in 1998, where we see a young LeBron James, our captivating lead. Captivating as Michael Jordan was in the first one, so not very. Getting sports people to act is apparently really hard, I guess. Anyway. So he's given an arcade or a early game, which includes Bugs Bunny as the game that comes along with the cartridge. But after he misses his basketball shot, he's told that video games are a distraction and to focus on the game. Thus we cut to a montage of him getting older and getting better. So on and so forth, and we cut to the present day. We cut to his two sons, one who will be leading on, Dom, his younger son, and his older son, but we're more focused on Dom, because that's where our story lies, quote-unquote. And he wants him, LeBron wants him to focus on also becoming the next basketball star, even though the son is already off making video games, apparently, and has already done so at an early age, so, there's that going on. Anyway, they get interrupted by the mother and daughter, who are set them aside, and, Anyway, after all that nonsense, we cut to California, where we meet John Cheadle's character, the algorithm, rhythm, or whatever he's called. For simplicity's sake, I'll just call him the algorithm. And boy, there's this guy, a pathetic villain. We're gonna get there. Probably one of the worst villains I've ever seen. So he's eager to get out of this serververse, as he refers to it as, and he's willing to garner the notification of the people of Warner Brothers and LeBron James himself. So he sends an email out, so he's behind the scenes doing some workings. But hey, E3's coming up, and that's related to the plot of this movie. Electronic games, or electronic showcase, I should say. Anyway, during this little home cut, we see that Dom's game freezes after the father inputs one of the things, because he's like, oh, I want to try to support my son a little bit. So, he gets called over to see what this whole project is all about. This whole Warner 3000, and we see all of these crossovers that are pretty bad, like Game of Thrones, which was terrible, so I'm not sure I'm not sure if the writers knew that or not, but they're like, yeah, let's just do that. And then Batman, which is like, okay, I guess. And then there's like one other one. Anyways, we have a pointless Stephen Yeun, which is greatly underutilized here. Sorry, Stephen Yeun. Oh, yeah, I guess you can go right back to Invincible. You got better things to do. And that show has its issues too, so, you know, just gotta point that out there. Anyways, LeBron says no, and the AI is like, Nani? So during this little meeting, things get a little bit, pushy, where Dom says he wants to go to the E3 camp instead of, basketball. So the AI sees he's been rejected, so he makes this hacker thing go down and leads them, or primarily Dom, to the server room where he gets teleported. Thus, LeBron is also teleported and sucked in. So the AI tells LeBron the plan right away, and if he loses, he'll lose all of this stuff. He thinks he already won, and this is the beginning of the movie, by the way. Or the beginning section still, or the end of the beginning section. So, he agrees to this, because if he wins, he'll let go, and he gets his son back, yada yada yada. Okay. So anyways, he gets sent off to, past all these several worlds, and we see him, wake up animated in the Bugs Bunny world, where Bugs Bunny appears. For simplicity's sake, I'll refer to Bugs Bunny as BB and LeBron James as LB. Makes sense to me. And currently, BB, Bugs Bunny, is alone, and he gets a little drunk even, as he explains how the AI exploited the other toons and made them leave to better pastures, apparently. So, yeah, he is able to inquire a flag out of nowhere. And thus, we get a little cameo appearance by Marvin the Martian. So they take his ship, because that's what you need to do, is steal stuff to get what you need. So anyways, while that's going on, we cut back to Dom, who's hanging out with the AI. And as per usual, the AI is trying to butter up and lie about what he wants from Dom, and he's trying to get more and more hacking abilities and try to get in there. So he's using the kid's innocence to essentially get what he wants. Anyway, BB, Bugs Bunny, is desperately eager to get his team back. And all the while, LB, LeBron, wants the top superheroes like Superman and King Kong and all those guys. So they go to the first world. They go world hopping to the superhero world, where they meet up with Daffy and Porky Pig. And there's a chain sequence in which they nearly knock it off, but Superman comes into the rescue and gets mad, and then, you know, they don't say anything and they just leave. After just deciding to leave, they start to obtain the Roadrunner, and through old clips of old movies like Austin Powers, and we get a random cameo appearance by Rick and Morty, for whatever reason, who bring in Taz. And we cut finally to the Matrix, which has Speedy and Granny. Oh, but after that, I should say, they go to the main one, because, save the best for last, I guess, question mark? Wonder Woman, who's obtaining Lola to be a Amazon warrior. They get her Wonder Woman themed plan. Anyways, instead of doing the full trial, she ends up saving her allies, which Wonder Woman appreciates, so she becomes an Amazon, I guess. Meanwhile, Dom and AI are just chilling. He wants to steal the code, as I mentioned, and he changes it to be father versus son. Because he's making up this plan as he goes along, I guess. Anyways. So now, with the court being set with father versus son, in the background, we cut back to the Toons very briefly trying to hone up on their basketball skills. And during this, LeBron is still in the very much camp of, take it seriously, guys. While BB reinforces the have fun, which is all about what the son was trying to get behind and do his thing. Anyway, we cut back to the real world, where the mother and the others are worrying now, and they get closer and closer to the locations. So, Dom sacrifices or gives his own code, and AI is super proud. During their little game, the son's attempts to play are super good. And then, they're winning at first, and then the BB and his squad start to win and get points somehow. And once they do that, LeBron James starts to go, oh, wait a minute, gotta have more fun, because that's what it's all about, right? And I should mention right before this little game that probably the most interesting aspect is right before, as I mentioned, is that Bugs Bunny and LB, or LeBron James, are arguing over what they wanted to do. LeBron being the whole serious one and being like, I'm trying to get my son back, and Bugs being like, arguing for why he's been obsessed with just getting his team. An actual through line in the story, but, the movie doesn't have time to actually finish that, because of course it doesn't. It seems a little uneven that, Bugs Bunny got what he wanted thus far, and again, LeBron wanting to take over and then having to submit to the Bugs Bunny after the fact. Seems a little lopsided. At any rate, the team gets caught up in a CGI upgrade, or downgrade, depending on how you look at it, but more likely a downgrade. This does nothing except CGI them. They can still do Looney Tunes stuff, so don't ask. Anyways, the audience arrives and the people are getting crazy scared. They get sucked into their phones, and our team, our enemy team is officially shown off, where the game starts, and again, their team is losing, and the last thing we see is this new player who gets to just walk into the game named Chrono, who can stop time or slow it down, and gain a massive amount of points, as well as score multiple times without having to reset, because apparently this isn't actually basketball. So we cut to halftime show, and they get Michael B. Jordan because they want to have us think that they could have gotten Michael Jordan, but disappoint everyone, because there wasn't disappointment enough in that first movie, but we couldn't even get him to reappear, so fuck it. The team is all like, oh, we were trying to be like you, LeBron, trying to follow your lead, which is kind of bullshit, because there is never a point in time where that's actually acclimated to anything. But hey, it's halftime show, so we gotta do something, and a rap starts. And Porky goes ham during that, and they get points for it, for some reason. So now the Toons are getting cheered, and as they get back to it, Granny challenges the Chrono and makes him age super poorly after doing some Matrix stuff. And as they are catching up, the AI shows their true colors, and the Sun's like, uh-oh. So the Sun decides to change sides, so they go back, he decides to go back with his, dad, same team, trades teams, sure, whatever. AI shifts, and the bad guy, the AI, fights with his team, and he decides that he wants to, catch up and be in the top, so he removes 2 points from their team instead of removing all of their points for some reason. This algorithm is the worst villain of all time. I said that, right, in this review? Well, he's the worst villain of all time, okay? He is bad. And talking about algorithms, this is pathetic. He's not scary at all. You know what's scarier than this algorithm? The algorithm of YouTube. Now that is a true supervillain. If the YouTube of algorithm was here, I'd be like, oh boy, our heroes are actually in trouble. So yeah, they fight back. They decide that the one way that they can beat the game is by cheating at the game because themes? ? So Bugs Bunny glitches the game, which allows them to win via LeBron using his power-up move, but is boosted by his son picking up a power-up when throwing it, even though, whatever, fuck it. So the humans get to leave, and Bugs Bunny glitches, but the people return home, so he gets to return, because he said earlier in the movie that cartoons don't die anyway, so fuck it. And yeah, anyways, a week passes and Dom gets to do his E3 thing. Whoop-de-doo. And again, Bugs Bunny returns to the human world and brings all of his allies along with him. So just to recap, this movie has incomplete themes, lack of character development, pointless or near pointless cameo collab material within it, and doesn't even have the oomph of the Space Jam theme song. So what the fuck is this movie even about? I couldn't tell you. Because every time there's potential for, say, a character or character to be introduced, their bond being a good father and all that, it's completely squandered by, but I guess we can just cheat though, right? That's how we win. And I guess someone can combat and say, oh, but in the first Space Jam movie, didn't Michael Jordan do the whole extend his arms trick? And I guess I could say, yeah, for the most part, sure. But I think, from what I can recall of that movie, it was still more grounded in actual basketball, and that was the only time that he was allowed to get loony, and they get loony, or he gets loony in this movie too. So it's a shared issue, or it's either a shared issue or it's a shared good thing. It's either one or the other. It cannot be both. It cannot be split between the two. Regardless, this movie, again, doesn't have full character. It doesn't have any consideration for story or, actually grounding itself, and in any meaningful way. So yeah, in terms of a movie score, you see, I think I've had the luxury in my YouTube career of giving 2 out of 10 movies, but I think we can suffice to say that this is the first time on this channel that I'll be giving a movie a 0 out of 10, because I don't think that this is a movie. It's not. It's an advertisement. It's a long advertisement. That is what this movie is. It's not a movie. It does not have characters that have actual characteristics. It doesn't. I'm sorry to tell ya, but that's just me being as objective as possible. They almost break into being characters, which would have been, nice. But for every time there is potential to be character, it's just completely squandered or wasted. And, it's just an advertisement. It's not a movie. There's nothing else to say. This is not a movie in the traditional sense. There's no plot that is complete within the context of this quote-unquote story. It's LeBron James doing the basketball with Bugs Bunny and crew, with other cameos. That's it. That's all this movie really has to offer. So yeah, that's it for this. If you ended up enjoying this review or rant, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out those links in the description. One to head you over to my Discord server, the other to my Patreon page. Any donations are desperately needed, and until next time, everyone, bye-bye!